Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Kizzy and JC coming at you from Shift the Culture and Unaverage Mentality.
What's good, people? How y'all feeling today?
Yep. So, I'm sorry. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Sleepy, long day at work, but, knocking out these podcasts, still selling these bakery items. If you need a cake in the DMV, holler at me.
What's the name of it? Dipped in Sparkles?
Dipped in Sparkles _by Key on Instagram.
That's what's up. All right, so we'll make this a quick one because it's getting a little late. But I wanted to discuss losing yourself in a relationship versus improving yourself in a relationship. What are the positive and the negative changes of that?
Let's talk about the two phrases first, right? Mm-hmm. Losing yourself in a relationship, right? I feel like that's what a lot of people fear, especially when it comes to women, right? Mm-hmm. They feel like when a guy, I'm always talking about the good men, right? So let's just throw out all the bad right away, right? Mm-hmm. When a guy comes into a woman's life and tries to improve her life, right? Where he may point out some of her bad habits, some things she could improve in, right? Because obviously he sees something in her, right? I feel like a lot of women take that as the wrong type of change, mm-hmm. right? Where like he's trying to change me.
He's trying to control her.
Right, he's trying to control me, right? So I don't want to lose myself in this relationship, make it all about him, which you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. But it's more of how you're receiving the good advice or the good message, mm-hmm. So in the aspect, you definitely should not lose yourself in a relationship. You should not do so much for another person that you don't know who you are. You're doing stuff that you wouldn't normally do. But if somebody's trying to improve you, there's nothing different. You know what I'm saying? Like version you 2.0, still you, but it might be an upgraded mindset, upgraded finances, upgraded situation, location. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you definitely gotta know the difference. And unfortunately, I feel like for women, they may not know that line as well. Like, good. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. You always want to work on improving yourself, for your relationship. Hence relationships like jobs. Mm-hmm. You mm-hmm. want to improve yourself for your job as well. So why can't you improve yourself for your relationship?
Exactly.
You have to be able to take constructive criticism.
Right.
But also like if I'm coming to you and I have some suggestions, mm-hmm. I have to have a certain
open mind.
Well, no, not open mind. I'm coming to you, right? So you're the one who needs the open mind. But I need to work on my delivery, right?
Right.
And it's not always what you say; it's how you say it.
Right.
When do you find the right time to sit that person down and relay it in a effective manner mm-hmm. to them? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If this person is soft, you need to be more softer.
Right.
If this person so one thing they say that is, in relationships, men complain that women don't know how to talk to them. When they want them to do something.
That's true.
Women complain sometimes that the men don't know how to talk to them when they want the woman to do something.
That
so
could
it's
be
really
true.
just understanding, what this person needs. Like some guys, mm-hmm. you can fuss with them like that. You could be like, look, get up and so and then he gonna argue with you and do what you know what I'm saying. But then other men is like
that's unhealthy.
Yes, toxic.
That's toxic.
But sometimes they both are toxic. That's just how they communicate, unfortunately. But then others, it's like, to get this person to do what it is that you would like them to do, how do I need to, ask them or relay this to them? You understand? So that they can understand. That's that understanding your person in a sense. So yes, you need to work on your delivery. You need to be open-minded if you're the person receiving information. And also be understanding in a sense too. So I think we talked once about people's timelines, right? So you're not you don't expect someone to make a drastic change overnight or within a month. But if you see the effort, then that's improvement alone, right? You're not focusing on the change, you're focusing on the actual improvement. I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah, overall, let me ask you this question, because one thing that just in general, I like to ask women is, when is there a right time to criticize you? Or critique you. Let's not use criticize. Critique you, right? Obviously, I'm saying, let's just use a small example. You might be a late person. How can I tell you, or when should I tell you about this situation and how it could be detrimental to you or our situation without you taking offense or getting defensive?
I mean, some people just are who they are. No matter how you tell them, they're always going to they just don't ever want to be the one in the wrong. That's how they're going to take it. But for the most part, I guess it's situational, so you gotta, it really depends on what it is. Is it something that you can let go? So for instance, right, if I'm out in public with someone and I don't know, they do something I don't like, right? Mm-hmm. if it's not that big of a deal, this can wait until we get home, or we just can wait until later, and then I'm gonna bring it up. Right? That's the time.
Okay.
But then it depends on how big it is and how much it affected me, and the time and the place. I might address it right here and there. You know what I'm saying? If it's that big, and it's just based on the need. Do I need to talk to you about this now? So
have you ever felt like when you was dating a guy, and do you ever feel like you was like
question? By the way, I feel like I kind of like answered around that, which I do sometimes.
You did,
okay.
But have you ever dated a guy and you felt like you was losing yourself in the relationship? Like you don't, well, whatever you consider.
Because they had all these all these suggestions, and it's just like,
were they bad suggestions?
They weren't necessarily bad, but they were like extreme in my opinion.
Do you mind sharing an example of an extreme situation?
Okay. Mind you, I'm recording, so I have to. I wouldn't expect you to ask me this, so I don't have my answers on the spot. So I am going to answer in circles a little bit. But there was one person where they highlighted just in general how upset I would be quick to get. And it really wasn't with them. It was, I used to have road rage or whatever when I was younger.
Yes, she did. Okay, go ahead.
I don't think I was that bad, but hey, according to some people, I was.
And the state.
Anyway, he was like, "Oh, Kelly, you need to try to be more forgiving. Like, you're about, it's just, is it that serious? Calm yourself down, you understand, before you end up in a situation that you can't get yourself out of or whatever." So that's just him, and I listened to him, Okay. Again, he didn't, it's how he told me and when he told me as well. So that was an improvement, not just for road rage. That's an improvement in life in general. Just saying, hey, gather your emotions first. You understand? Think about it. Sometimes you need to walk away, do that. But, understand how you, how your emotions are impacting you in the moment. You understand?
Have you ever, is there a situation where maybe he gave you some good advice and you felt like he was trying to change you versus improve you?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about that one. I'm trying to think of an example for real.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just say yes. I can't think of an example.
Okay, I mean, you ain't got to say the reason, but what made you? Or let's make sure we're on the same page first. We are saying that it was something that was going to improve you, but you just so happened to take it as he's trying to change me, right? I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So in hindsight, yeah, we're okay. I'm gonna say this.
Now. Okay.
There was one person when I was young, right? I was hanging out with him, and he was like, and I might have to cut this out later, but for the sake of now.
Then don't say, nah, don't do that.
What do you mean?
Don't say it if you got to cut it out.
Why?
Because.
Okay, well, I just won't say it then, but it's funny. I'm just saying it's better to have it and then decide later if I want to keep it than to sit here and just. Okay, so he was like, he told me, he was like, yeah, sometimes, you be around me and he's like, you don't smell very girly. I was like,
this is not
what
going
the heck
in there.
Does that mean?
This is definitely getting cut out.
This is?
Yeah.
No, but what he was saying is, so basically I lived with a smoker, right?
Right.
And, my clothes would be in there and it would smell like smokes. But I'm just like, why not just say you smell like cigarettes? Like for you to tell me I don't smell girly, that's like saying I smell like a dude. I guess
that's what he is trying to say.
But yeah, so I had to, I got offended at first, but then I had to think okay, what is he saying? So maybe I need to take my clothes and put them in not a Ziploc bag, a suitcase or something for the person.
Is that when you started doing that?
What?
After you said that? That is when you started
what?
Let me wear this over this. So.
Oh, the things I wear? No, it was the smells. No. I didn't know I was
trying to follow what I'm saying. You used to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think naturally anyway, I kind of just. Because so for instance, I used to be a really big tomboy. I still am a tomboy, right?
Right.
And I blame you and my other friends for not pointing that out, and showing me, really just drilling that, yo, Kelly, this is not cool, right?
What?
Yes, I do blame y'all. And you know what?
So when we called you like a boy and stuff, what is that? What were you taking from that?
I mean, you was just saying, Kelly, you wanted the
but I'm saying
homies.
Yeah, but we mean homie, not
How was I supposed to? I'm thinking we're all friends, we're homies, but you was like, no, you're a homie.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. The other girls are our homie too, but you are our homie.
You didn't express it that way.
Yes, we did.
Whatever.
You didn't take it. You didn't want to see it that way.
It just took growing because as I got older, and I will say as I got older, it doesn't you can't just be walking like you walk around how you want to walk around, right? People are who they are, and there's somebody for everybody. However, it's going to be interpreted a lot differently, you know, from when you're in high school and you dress in some way, and opposed to you a grown ass woman dressing like this. This has to be it. She has to be like this. You understand?
Yeah.
That's going to be people's, you know, thought and mindset, and it just helped me. So looking back on it, you know, yeah, those people were telling me, and I just didn't want to hear it.
I'll say as a man that's been in a relationship, right? The improving versus changing the person, 'cause, you know, they are similar. An improvement is a change, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. So, but I feel like they just wasn't ready in a sense. It could be my delivery at the time. It could be a lot of different variables, right?
It could be that's just not their point in life. Whatever. You ever look at
that too?
And it's like, why couldn't you be like this when I was with you? Now all of a sudden I don't left, and now you're willing to change this 4 years later.
100%, right? No, 100%, right? A lot of times in those situations, the number one question I ask to try to keep her to understand, like, I'm not trying to change you for, like, especially for a negative thing, is, do you feel like I'm trying to be like malicious to you, or do you feel like I'm trying to use you, or am I trying to get anything out of this, right? Because one thing I always say is, like, what I'm trying to teach you is intangible. Right, so whether you're with me or not, you get to keep this. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you have this whether I'm around or not. That's how much I mess with you, right? So, usually the answer is like, no, it's not. You know what I'm saying? If you know, it's like, no, you are doing this for this reason because you want to see me here. So that for me, that would be like the fight where it's like, well, you know my intent. You know I'm not trying to hurt you or nothing like that. Then why can't you intake this information right now? But everybody's journey is different. You know, it's just a little irritating when it comes to, like, you're trying to reach a goal, or, you know what I'm saying, and your speeds are different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I think sometimes the issue is too, like, some people is sometimes wrong. Like I have to understand, you know, because I'm my own person, right? And that's one thing my parents taught me, is that you're responsible for you. Right. And somebody can tell you something and you do it, but you're the one who's going to be impacted when it's all said and done. Right. So maybe someone is trying to tell me something in the moment, but I just don't. You know, I don't understand. I don't see it. Not saying they're wrong, but maybe I just can't see it at the moment. Now, other times they have been wrong, and I'll be like, nah. You realize that everybody who knows me, you're the only one who's saying this, right? You know, so it can't be that every 10 people.
No, I'm actually the other way, because I feel like I feel like me, the way I talk ain't like most guys, or in general, like most people, right? The emotional intelligence, right? So. No, I'm usually different than most of the other ones, because most of all y'all are saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why y'all all relate. You know what I'm saying? Versus I'm the difference of opinion. So maybe, you know, it could be different. But I definitely understand that. Like, you know, if everybody says it may line up. But
it's not even just that. Sometimes it's just not everyone is the leader for that specific person. So I had somebody telling me once.
I agree. I
had somebody telling me once, where, like, you know, you shouldn't. I guess I'm assuming their message was that you shouldn't work hard, because they was like, why you work so much? Just, you know, depend on God. And I was just like, what? Like, that don't. I hear you can have that, but in terms of us getting to know each other, I'm not doing that. You understand? Like, I know my
getting to know God.
I'm not gonna sit here and, like, work less.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? For this, it's just like, yeah, I take what you say with getting to know God, but I'm not gonna quit, like, my second job or whatever the case is. Yeah. Just because I don't agree with that. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong. It just don't work for me.
Yeah. Now, let me say this: everybody is not your leader, right? Yes. You should not follow everybody. So let's just go. That's where common sense come in, where your standard boundaries, blase, right? I do feel like, I'm not saying, like, I feel like you gotta test everybody, but don't go too hard on the test. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta put people in little situations to see how they come out, see what the result is. Even if it's a bad, you know, the situation happened bad, how do you handle adversity? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you definitely got to see those type of things to see if that's, like, a good leader or a good follower, right? Because as a leader, you don't want a follower that you got to tell something 1,000 times, because you got to look at it like, let's use, like, a war type of scenario. We're in a battle. I can't keep looking over my shoulders to make sure you're following me. You know what I'm saying? And just like as a follower, you want to make sure he knows his path that you're following him on, or her on, you know, however it works out here. So I feel like you definitely got to do your checks and balances to see, but everybody is definitely not your leader and or your follower. Just for
I see that
reasons.
even with jobs where, like, you know, been in like a leadership role somewhere, and I'm trying to get this person to do something, and they don't want to comply, and I'm just like, look, we don't have time for like the questions. I'll answer that later, but right now, this is the moment. This urgent, so we got to do it. And in relationships, I understand how guys sometimes get frustrated where they're like, I'll explain later, but right now, this is what we got to focus on. I just need you to do it, and trust me that I'm, taking us there.
Shout out. I don't know if he exactly said this, but I believe like Kevin Samuels, when he was alive, said this, right? Well, basically, it's like, all right, if the guy's driving, nobody likes a backseat driver. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, yo, you put me in the driver's seat to drive us here, sit in the passenger side, do your thing. We may have to switch once or twice, but I'm gonna get us to our destination. You can't be asking me every exit, are we there yet, or is it this or that? Because I'm going to take my focus off the road, which is once again our journey, our destination, our goal. For me to have to keep talking to you and relaying this message. You guys just trust, hey, we going to Ocean City? We going to Ocean City. You know what I'm saying? And keep it moving.
Now, what if like we going to Ocean City, and somehow, I start seeing signs. I start seeing Cleveland. I thought you said we was heading north.
That's when you do it. Like, I'm glad you said that, right? I do, and I said this about advice in general, right? Don't criticize it till you get to the point where it's wrong. Like, at least try it, right? I'm not saying like nothing but yes, if we're driving, supposed to go to Ocean City, you start seeing signs of Cleveland, that's when excuse me. You know what I'm saying? But you don't, as soon as we 5 minutes pull off on the highway, you like, are you sure this is the right direction? Like, until you start seeing signs that I'm not going the right direction, all right, cool, but at least
then you got some of them people where like, they just as stubborn, like, Ocean City's north, Virginia Beach is south, so if I'm like, hey, Virginia Beach, I got it, I'll be like,
and, okay, so let me also say that.
Hey, what do you do then?
You still got to go through it for both reasons, right? Because once again,
so I'm just supposed to let him take me to Virginia Beach. No, we're supposed to be Ocean City.
Sometimes I'm a believer. You got to let people run into the wall. I'm not saying for that exact example, right? But you got to let people mess up. So it's a learning experience for both of y'all, right? Where it's like, that person will learn, all right, maybe I don't know everything,
maybe
right?
I need to open myself up to advice.
Yeah, but if you cut them all short, you'll never have that credibility on your side, or that credit where, now, remember that time where I did try to say this and you didn't want to listen
this time? But
then
some people, you can't even do that because they be like, you always bring up the past. It's just like, well, it's actually relevant now.
It depends. Yeah, you're right.
People just will never get it.
No, 100%. There's some people like that, period. And I don't even try to deal with them for the most part, but there's people out there.
I was telling somebody something one day, like, you ever deal with someone where like no matter what they say, they have to be right? And like, it was just like saying something that wasn't correct, right? Using like the wrong definition, like the wrong idea of a word. So I looked the word up and I'm like, well, it says this, right? See, that's what's wrong with y'all generation, y'all women this generation now, always running to the internet. And I'm just like, you know what, at this point, this person has to be right no matter what they say. You know what I'm saying? When you realize you're dealing with a crazy person, I'm not even gonna argue with you. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Like, I know a person like that too.
No matter how you flip it, they're just gonna turn around and tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah, they're more worried about being right than getting the message. That's my whole conversation with most people, right? It's like a lot of things in conversation, it'd be the technicality of the word, right? A lot of people ain't good at grammar or English regardless, but now they want to be every word. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, all right, you listen to the overall message. My word might be different than your word, but if make it get the similarities in there to get what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So I think I'll kind of have a conversation about like wants and needs in a relationship, right? And I kind of explain, like, I'm a very self-sufficient man. So how I explain, like, I need you as a woman for my companionship, right? But there's certain things as far as, let's just say, like, household duties, cooking, cleaning, taking care of myself as a human adult. I don't need you for that. I want you for that.
So that kind of drifts into I know we got to wrap this up soon, but that drifts into like the topic of where women and men, more so women, right? Because women, we always say that we don't need a man. And I think it's misunderstood. We don't need a man for a lot of, or we need a man for a lot of things, but we don't need to be with a man. We want to be with a man. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as, for the most part, money makes the world go round, right? So as long as you have a certain amount of money, you can afford to pay somebody to do it, even if you don't want to. That's not a need right there. That's a want. I want this guy here to lift this and that. But if I don't have the guy here and it needs to get done, it's gonna get done because I'm just gonna, So that's what she means. Like, I want a man, I don't need a man. I think men say the same thing where they want companionship in a woman, but I don't need you.
Yeah, and how I try to explain it is, I look at need as like a dependable word, right? Like if I don't know how to cook and you leave, I need somebody to cook this. Right. I'm not going to eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know how to cook. I want you to cook for me though, because once you're here, I want to stop. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I look at it instead of like the word need, I replace it with like appreciation, right? Because I can do it myself. But so I'm not saying I need you, but I'm saying I appreciate you that much more because you are doing this for me, you know. And that was like one like little, like I said, like depending on your maturity or the growth of the word, if you got the message like, hey, I ain't trying to say I need you, but if appreciate and need is the same level for you to understand it, use whatever word you got to hear, but just know I'm saying I appreciate you. If that word is need for you, then all right, cool, I need you, you know.
Do you see how like for the women it could be the same thing, like as far as their message saying, hey, I appreciate having a good man around, but I don't need a guy in a sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. As long as like it just depends on how she delivers the message.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't sound all angry and bitter about it. That's all I'm saying. It's for both sides. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it'd be like the delivery of the message. Where some women just sound like you might be right, but this is why you ain't gonna need them because ain't nobody want to be around that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you for watching Unaverage Mentality and Shifted Culture. I'm Kizzy sitting here with JC. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts. Until next time.
We out.
Yep.